Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com.
A paint and sip experience for $41.70 that's normally $44. Like, that's not... $3 is not enough
10%.
savings to, you know, I'm not going to get in my car and run for that one. Interesting.
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Kelly and I'm here with Tony. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.
And here are the Route 66 Centennial events in Springfield. They include a concert, car show, parade, gala, and more. Brought to us by Joe Hadsall in the Springfield Daily Citizen. We begin the article with a photo of the Visit Springfield, Missouri sign taken back in November. Also says, in the Jordan Valley Car Park. Events to celebrate the 100th anniversary of an iconic road will be launched from the city where it was named. A centennial kickoff celebration for Route 66 on April 30th to May 3rd features a wide variety of events, including a concert, Roaring 20-style ball, dedications for new landmarks, the opening of a historic footbridge, a historic exhibit, and, of course, a car show. Cora Scott, chair of the Route 66 Centennial Commission, and said Springfield earned the honor among competition from other well-known stops along the route, such as Tulsa and Chicago. She was appointed by Governor Mike Kehoe to serve on a commission for Missouri's portion of the route, and the opportunity to apply for hosting the national kickoff came from that. We had the opportunity to put our hat in the ring for one of the Missouri cities to be the kickoff city, Scott said in a recent interview with the Springfield Daily Citizen founder, Tom Carlson. I'm so proud to say that we had so much support from our other Missouri cities. They said it has to be Springfield. Following is a photo of Cora Scott, the city's Director of Public Information and Civic Engagement, and the chair of the Route 66 Centennial Commission as she speaks at the announcement. She's wearing a bright red blazer and a black top. It's very striking with her gray hair. Scott said that in addition to being a signature event in a season of Route 66 celebrations across the country, the kickoff will bring national attention to Springfield and is expected to draw thousands of people. The headlining event of the weekend is a concert April 30th at Great Southern Bank Arena, featuring a large lineup of performers, including Grammy-winning country group Little Big Town. Founded in 1998, the quartet scored its biggest chart success with 2012's Tornado. It also landed at number 1 on Billboard's country chart with the singles Pontoon, Girl Crush, and Better Man. The Ozark Mountain Daredevils, a band that got its start in Springfield before finding mainstream success with hits Jackie Blue and If You Want to Get to Heaven. Singer Gretchen Wilson, who skyrocketed into country charts with 2004's Redneck Woman. Singer Chris Jansen, who commanded significant country airplay with Good Vibes, Done, and Buy Me a Boat. Gary LeVox, the singer of Rascal Flatts. That band performed a cover of Tom Cochran's Life is a Highway for the soundtrack of Pixar's Cars. That animated movie found its inspiration in The Mother Road. The Haygoods, a family band performing in Branson for more than 30 years. The concert will be hosted by actor and Missouri State University alum John Goodman, who will be joined by Springfield City Councilwoman Callie Carroll. The concert is set to run from 5:30 to 11 p.m. Thursday, April 30th. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. Tickets range from $75 to $205 and are available online through Missouri State Tix. Before and during the concert, a festival will be held outside the arena from 3:30 to 7:30 p.m., featuring vendors, live music, and other pop-up performances. Before the concert, officials will dedicate Birthplace Plaza at 4 p.m. April 30th. Located at Jefferson Avenue and Park Central East, the plaza marks where that first telegram was sent to give Route 66 its name. Following is a photo of the sculpture by Spanish artist Juan Garayza-Ballant. He titled the piece Ghost of the Colonial Hotel. The plaza features a large sculpture representing the Colonial Hotel, a mosaic of the route, and an informational kiosk shaped like two large keys. It is created through a partnership between Rotary Clubs of Springfield, Sculpture Walk Springfield, Overlay, Missouri State University, and the City of Springfield. The dedication will be held at the exact time that telegram was sent 100 years ago. Route 66 in Springfield will be featured in the third hour of NBC's Today with hosts Al Roker, Dylan Dreyer, and Laura Jarrett broadcasting live from the Queen City. The third hour segment of the show on April 30th at 8 a.m. will be Springfield focused. Dreyer posted on Instagram that the trio will, quote, take you along for an incredible tour of everything the city has to offer, from local food and music to the stories that made Route 66 famous. Scott said that she has been speaking with the producers of the show for about 8 months. When she started pitching the show, Today jumped on board relatively quickly, she said. The three hosts will broadcast live from the Birthplace Plaza with an anchor desk that will resemble a diner counter. Among the many things they feature will be Central High School's Kelsey's, which just celebrated their 100th anniversary as well. The Kelsey's first performance was in a parade for the Rotary event that resulted in the route's naming. The show is free to attend, but registration is required. May 1st events feature plenty of cruising in chrome. A classic car history parade starting at 6 p.m. will drive from Glenstone Avenue and St. Louis Street west toward Campbell Avenue. Billed as a parade that happens once every 100 years, the parade will offer a look at automotive history. Parade organizers have allowed vehicles manufactured only between 1926 and 1985, the years that Route 66 was a commissioned highway. That means it will feature early touring cars, hot rods, muscle cars, and more. A parade pre-party will be held along the parade route at the Old Glass Place. Hosted by Missouri State University, the family-friendly party will feature live music from the Loose Cannons, free food, face painting, Dina the Balloon Lady, ice cream, and more. That party runs from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Plenty of cars will also be featured along Commercial Street in the Red, White, and Bridge Bash, where a classic car rally will be held. Running from 6 to 9 p.m., the rally will feature vehicles that will be running in the 2026 Great Race Spring Rally. Attendees can enjoy the sights of cars while the sun remains up. After sunset, the rally will turn to the Jefferson Avenue footbridge, where a lighting ceremony will be held that will also include a drone show. While most C Street events will be free, an impressive affair will be held alongside the rally at the Savoy Ballroom, located at 224 East Commercial Street. Stars and Stripes on Route 66 will feature Americana and Mother Road history, including a live auction, hors d'oeuvres from C Street's restaurants, drinks, and more. Tickets to this event are $66. May 2nd's events wrap up the kickoff with arts and elegance across the city. Red, White, and Bridge Bash events will continue for a second day along C Street, running from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The day's events include a car show, music, and more. Arts Fest, the annual Walnut Street Festival organized by the Springfield Regional Arts Council, will launch its first of 2 days with a Route 66 theme. The street will feature more than 100 artists, as well as demos, activities, shopping, and food. Ozarks Public Television will feature a screening of Route 66, Missouri's Mother Road, a documentary featuring stops from St. Louis to Joplin. It will be shown from 3 to 5 p.m. at the historic Fox Theater located at 157 Park Central Square. The day's events will end with a gala ball that celebrates the Roaring Twenties. The Telegraph Ball is a black tie event billed as a once-in-a-lifetime night. With tickets starting at $500 per person, the gala will feature fine dining, a live auction, and music by the Angel City Swing Orchestra. It will be held in the Abu Bin Adham Shrine Mosque, an event space along the route that has hosted some of the nation's great entertainers. Proceeds from the event will help fund route preservation efforts. Missouri First Lady Claudia Kehoe and Springfield's First Lady Marin Helen Schrag are the hosts. Their husbands, Governor Mike Kehoe and Mayor Jeff Schrag, are among the distinguished guests for the evening. Dust to Malibu, a road trip drama shot almost entirely in Springfield, will make its world premiere May 3rd at the Moxie Cinema. The movie stars Tim Daly, Alex Scambatti, Alexander Pobutsky, and Springfield native Shelley Gibson. Dust to Malibu is about a father, Daly, seeking out his estranged daughter, Scambatti, for a road trip to the California coast to scatter her mother's ashes. Shooting took place in 2024 and included locations such as the College Street Cafe, the Best Western Route 66 Railhaven, and Rockwood Motor Court. Product placements in the movie include Andy's Frozen Custard and Askinosie Chocolate. The red carpet premiere will be May 3rd at 3 p.m. with another screening at 6 p.m. A Q&A with the writer/director, producers, and actors will follow both screenings. Dust to Malibu will run at the Moxie for 2 weeks. Tickets are available through the Moxie's website.
From the Springfield News-Leader, Missouri judge rules public funds allowed for private school scholarships. By Annalise Hanshaw from the Missouri Independent. A Cole County Circuit Court judge ruled Tuesday that Missouri can use public funds to pay for private school scholarships, even though state law doesn't explicitly authorize it. In a 57-page ruling, Judge Brian Stump, S-T-U-M-P-E, wrote that lawmakers could directly appropriate funds to the Mo Scholars Program because state law does not expressly prohibit it. The Missouri National Education Association, which filed the lawsuit in June, said Wednesday, April 15th, in a press release that it plans to appeal the decision to the Missouri Supreme Court. This ruling doesn't change the facts. The budget's bill voucher scheme is unconstitutional, MNEA President Rebecca McIntosh said. Missouri NEA's 45,000 union-represented educators believe that families deserve a simple guarantee. If a school takes your tax dollars, it must also welcome your child. In 2021, lawmakers set up Mo Scholars to run on donations that can be claimed for a 100% tax credit up to a half of a donor's tax liability. Nonprofits act as intermediaries, accepting the donations and distributing the money to eligible students. Last year, lawmakers approved a budget request from Governor Mike Kehoe to direct $50 million in general revenue to the program's fund, which up until then was only used for marketing and administration purposes. The Missouri NEA and two of its leaders challenged the funding, arguing that the state law does not allow the legislature to use a budget bill to dramatically change the program's framework. But Stump rejected all of Missouri NEA's claims and ruled that the association and its members have no standing to sue because they are not harmed by the use of general revenue for private school scholarships. The General Assembly's choice to spend money on a scholarship program does not inflict harm on public schools when the legislature has not diverted funds from public schools to cover the scholarship program, his judgment says. Stump erroneously states in his ruling that most scholars pulls from entirely separate funding streams than public schools, writing that the education budget has separate funds. However, while there are dedicated revenue sources like lottery proceeds that fuel public education, a majority of school funding comes from general revenue. Even if Stump believed that the association had standing, his ruling sides with the state on multiple key issues with repeated reference to a lack of clear prohibitions on the use of general revenue. Plaintiffs have not shown that an appropriation into a statutorily created fund, even when underlying statutory framework is silent about the appropriations, is impermissible, he wrote. He rejected the notion that the direct appropriation to most scholars violates a state law that limits bills to a single subject and requires legislative authorization. Stump points to a 1992 Missouri Supreme Court decision that states, when conflict between two statutes is less than direct, then such a conflict may be resolved by relying upon the appropriation as strong evidence of the legislature's intention in adopting the general statute. He must interpret the pre-existing statute in light of a later appropriation. Based on this precedent, his ruling says. He concludes by speculating on the harm that could come if he put a stop to the funding at this point. Ordering the cessation of payments would risk putting families in a truly impossible situation, not receiving scholarship proceeds they believed were coming in the midst of an academic year, he wrote. This could leave families financially liable to unpaid education providers. Advocates for the voucher program and Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway heralded Stump's ruling as a victory in a news releases April 14th and 15th. The court's ruling is a clear win for Missouri families and for educational opportunity, Hanaway said in a press release. Parents, not special interests, are trusted to decide what education best fits their children. Our office will continue to defend families' freedom to choose. This story was first published at MissouriIndependent.com.
And a suspect in a teen's murder was accused of shooting a woman in a robbery 6 weeks prior to that, documents say. This story by Jackie Rewald in the Springfield Citizen says that a man charged with murdering 15-year-old Miles Young in March is also accused of shooting a woman in the leg during a robbery 6 weeks earlier, according to court documents obtained by the Daily Citizen. Jeffrey Archaga, age 18, is being held in the Greene County Jail on charges of first-degree murder and armed criminal action after prosecutors say he ambushed, chased, and fatally shot Young on March 12th in a neighborhood southwest of Springfield city limits. Archaga is also named in court documents surrounding a January 26th incident in Springfield, in which a victim says she was shot in the leg after two suspects tried to rob her of a bag of marijuana during a drug deal. It appears Archaga has not been charged in connection with the January shooting, but his name appears in a probable cause statement for 18-year-old Justice High, who is charged with first-degree robbery in that case. According to the probable cause statement in High's case, High contacted the victim, identified as V1, via Snapchat on January 26th and asked her to sell him marijuana. The two arranged a meeting at a location in Springfield. According to the statement, High arrived at that location with Archaga, whose first name is misspelled Yeffery in the statement. The accurate spelling of that is Yefry. V1 arrived with two other people. High allegedly asked V1 to walk down the street a ways because he didn't know the people she was with. V1 walked down the street with High and Archaga, according to the statement, and then High grabbed the bag of marijuana the victim was holding in an attempt to steal it. But the statement says V1 wouldn't let go, so she and High struggled over the bag. High then allegedly told Archaga to shoot V1. According to the statement, she put High between herself and Archaga in an attempt to not get shot. But Archaga allegedly pulled a gun out of his waistband, pointed it at V1, and shot her in the left thigh. According to the statement, officers with the Springfield Police Department later followed tracks in the snow and used a canine to track the suspects to the back door of a residence, but didn't attempt to make contact with anyone inside. The statement does not describe why the officers did not attempt to make contact with anyone inside. Officers also collected a 9mm shell casing on the scene where V1 was shot. According to the statement, the casing matched to shootings on January 23rd, 2026 and January 24th, 2026. According to the Greene County Jail roster, High was arrested by Springfield police on February 7th. He remains in jail on a $50,000 bond. About 6 weeks after V1 was shot, Miles Young was shot and killed on March 12th. Investigators believe Archaga pulled the trigger. Two other suspects have also been arrested for their suspected roles in Young's death. In the request for warrant for Archaga, the prosecutor summarized what investigators believe happened leading up to Young's death. Defendant planned and set up a 15-year-old boy to be murdered. Defendant ambushed victim, chased victim on foot, and shot victim as victim was stating he wanted to live. Defendant ran from scene and reportedly fled from the state to avoid apprehension. Archaga and Praise King, both 18, are both charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. King was arrested on March 18th in Greene County. Archaga was arrested on March 31st in Webb City. They are being held in the Greene County Jail without bond. Greene County Chief Juvenile Officer Bill Prince confirmed that the third suspect is a 17-year-old girl who is charged with first-degree murder and being held in a juvenile detention in advance of a hearing to determine whether she should be charged as an adult. According to court documents for the murder case, witnesses told investigators they believe Young had been set up because a juvenile, identified as J1 in the probable cause statement, blamed Miles for the death of a victim in a 2025 homicide case. The probable cause statement from the murder case states that Archaga was also a suspect in a first-degree assault case from February. It's not clear if or when prosecutors plan to charge Archaga with any crimes related to the January robbery. Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Joshua Harrell said these are open investigations and declined to comment or provide any further details. Archaga is from Honduras. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement issued an arrest detainer for Archaga last week, alleging he is in the country illegally. Local Republican lawmakers hosted a press conference on Friday, April 10th inside the historic Greene County Courthouse to address public safety concerns and issues related to illegal immigration. A news release from Congressman Eric Burleson's office sent to reporters on April 9th suggested the press conference was intended to address the recent fatal shooting of 15-year-old Miles Young of Springfield. However, those that spoke at the press conference declined to answer any questions about the case or speak about what investigators believe happened. Instead, they spoke about the issue of illegal immigration. Burleson, who represents Missouri's 7th District, described the issue as a, quote, dire public safety situation that continues to put Missouri families at risk. The Springfield Daily Citizen spoke to Archaga's defense attorney, Adam Woody, by phone this week. Woody said he found the lawmakers' press conference, quote, very concerning, because one of two things are happening here. Either these local and state leaders are using this for political points without doing the research and without really knowing the facts of the case, Woody said, or they know the facts of the case and they're simply misleading the public. According to Woody, Archaga was brought to the United States by his parents when he was about 6 or 7 and was raised in Missouri, went to school in Missouri, and has lived in Springfield for over a year. His nationality is completely irrelevant to any of these talking points they are trying to make, Woody said. They're simply trying to use it as political fodder to score political points when the nationality of this young man has nothing to do with the charged offense. I find it very concerning that they're here, with even the sheriff whose department investigated the case. They're essentially poisoning the jury pool, he continued. I'm going to have to now figure out how to go about getting a fair jury when it's clearly been poisoned by these politicians. Woody, who said he was hired by Archaga's family who lives in the area, said he was unaware of any criminal investigations involving Archaga other than what was mentioned in Archaga's probable cause statement for the murder charge. Archaga is scheduled for a preliminary hearing on June 15th in Judge Ron Carrier's courtroom.
From the Springfield News-Leader, Missouri Senate tweaks the budget as effect of capital gains tax grows. A surge of tax refunds tied to Missouri's capital gains tax cut pushed general revenue collections below last year's pace as the Senate Appropriations Committee worked on Tuesday, April 14th, to finalize the state budget for the coming year. Net general revenue collections for the year fell $10 million between the close of business April 10th and the final figures for April 13th, as $60 million in tax refunds were paid out. When lawmakers approved the capital gains tax cut last year, it was expected to reduce revenue by almost $110 million annually. Yet, by December, budget officials had revised that estimate to upwards of $500 million or more. The state expects $13.1 billion in revenue for the current fiscal year, down from $13.4 billion collected last fiscal year. The dip into negative territory after nearly 10 months of growth came later than anticipated, but is on track with projections, State Budget Director Dan Haug, H-A-U-G, told The Independent. Total tax refunds for the year stood at $1.4 billion on April 13th, $50 million more than the same date last year. The difference is expected to grow dramatically as high-income filers, those most likely to have capital gains now exempt from taxation, send in returns to meet the April 15th deadline. Against that backdrop, the Senate Appropriations Committee on April 14th dipped into money set aside for expansion and renovation of the Capitol building. State Senator Rusty Black, the Chillicothe Republican who chairs the committee, said he is using about $200 million of the $600 million reserved for the Capitol renovation project. The committee was to vote on the spending plan April 15th after finishing work on provisions that will govern the spending. The 12 bills setting operational spending keep some of the surplus funds in reserve. The committee reversed decisions made in the Missouri House that used $65 million in surplus in the Blind Pension Fund for public schools and shifted about $120 million in interest accrued on $1.6 billion set aside for highway projects on Interstate 70 and Interstate 44 to the General Revenue Fund. The state constitution allows surplus money in the Blind Pension Fund supplied by a statewide property tax to be used for schools. In an interview, Black said he'd rather wait to use it. There may be other times we need surplus, Black said. The Capitol building funds helped replace school funding typically covered by lottery revenue, which can only be spent on education. Lottery proceeds have fallen short of projections. This puts us in a better spot, State Senator Maggie Nuremburn, Nurrenbern, a Democrat from Kansas City, said when Black made the shift. Lottery proceeds are down right now. We need to make sure those numbers represent what they are going to receive. The Senate committee made its changes in the spending amounts in the state operating budget during the session that took up most of the day, April 14th. It was to finish the job April 15th when members finalized provisions that will govern spending, with the full Senate expected to debate the budget next week. Final figures showing how much the committee appropriated for state operations were not available immediately. The House-passed budget used $50.4 billion for operations and another $2.5 billion for construction and maintenance projects. Of that amount, $15.9 billion comes from general revenue, with $2.3 billion covered by the accumulated surplus. The state began the current fiscal year with $4.3 billion on hand. That figure was $2.9 billion on March 31st and is projected to be under $300 million by June 30th of 2027. Other major changes to the House-passed budget include reversing a radical overhaul of higher education funding that took all of the direct support for community colleges and state universities and redistributed it based on full-time student counts. Some schools would have received substantial increases, like an additional $30 million from Missouri State University in Springfield, while others, like Lincoln University in Jefferson City and Truman State University in Kirksville, would be cut by up to 50%. Also, restoring money cut from child care subsidies, and moving about $70 million in funding for state information technology support to the Department of Social Services to help the department prepare for implementation of new federal welfare program rules and to meet client service requirements. Also, additional $15 million to school transportation funding, half of what is needed as an increase to cover the state's share of those costs. Also cutting $10 million requested by Governor Mike Kehoe to expand the Mo Scholars School Voucher Program. Also agreeing with the House not to fund $250,000 for a grant to the 57 Foundation set up in late 2024 to educate the public on the history of Governor Mike Parsons' life and administration. The higher education funding plan proposed by the House may be a starting point for discussions about future changes in state support, but no one in the Senate is ready to go along, Black said. I don't have anybody supporting what the House did on our side at a very strong level, he said. I have people strongly opposing it from the Senate side. The committee cut other education funding, including $20 million in the Career Ladder program that rewards teachers who take on additional responsibilities and engage in voluntary efforts to improve their schools. State Senator Barbara Washington, a Kansas City Democrat, said she is worried that the cut could mean the state will lose teachers to surrounding states that have higher salaries. I just want us as a committee to be conscious of us losing good teachers to states like Arkansas, which needs a lot of help, but they manage to pay more. The money from the Capitol Building Fund and other funds that are surplus allow lawmakers to plug holes in the budget rather than make cuts. But using those funds for recurring expenses only puts off potential cuts, Black told The Independent. Black designated some of the spending, such as the boost to school transportation, as a one-time appropriations, a signal that the money may not be available in subsequent years. And he said the signal should be a clear warning that deeper cuts are coming. Black said, we're going to probably be in the worst condition overall next year. The story was first published at MissouriIndependent.com.
And 21 protesters at Springfield's No Kings rally get citations. Police used a drone to investigate. The story brought to us from the Springfield Daily Citizen and Steve Pokin, who writes, weeks after the March 28th No Kings rally in Springfield, 18 people were sent citations in the mail from Springfield police for allegedly, quote, walking along roadways during the Saturday afternoon protests along Battlefield Road. Chris Swatters, spokesperson for the Springfield Police Department, said those 18 people who were cited after the rally were identified, quote, using drone footage and police resources. She declined to elaborate on how police matched faces with names and addresses. 3 others received the same ticket directly from an officer during the rally, and one person, Carrot Leck, age 37, was arrested on suspicion of resisting, failure to obey a lawful order, and walking in the roadway, according to Swatters. Approximately 20 individuals stepped out into the road and marched from the area of Fremont to the area of Glenstone, refusing orders to clear the roadway. One who was arrested had a megaphone, Swatters said. There were 2 No Kings rallies in Springfield prior to the one on March 28th. Swatters said that March 28th was the first time citations were issued to protesters for being in the roadway. It was the first time protesters marched down the middle of the street, she said. Police also used a drone or drones to monitor the No Kings rally held October 18th at National and Sunshine, Swatters said. The first No Kings rally in Springfield was June 14th along Chestnut Expressway. Cindy Johnson Potts on April 13th posted on Facebook that she was one of those issued a citation in the mail. In that post, she questioned what type of surveillance police used to track her down. A week after NK3, the third No Kings rally in Springfield, people who showed up to peacefully march in the street are now getting summons in the mail, Potts wrote. That raises a serious question. How were names and home addresses obtained? People should be able to show up, speak out, and participate in their community without wondering if their personal information will be collected and used against them after the fact. This isn't just about one event. It's about whether people feel safe enough to engage at all, and right now that safety feels shaken. As of Thursday, April 16th, her post received over 400 comments, many accusing police of violating Potts' free speech rights. Swatter said the citations were not related to free speech, but were written with an eye toward public safety on a busy thoroughfare and to enforce laws about pedestrians being in the roadway. The role of the Springfield Police Department is to keep everyone safe as they peacefully assemble, which includes ensuring traffic is unimpeded, Swatters said. Swatters also said flock cameras were not used as part of the investigation, which Potts had questioned in her post. Flock is a license plate reader and is not used to capture faces, Swatters said. Potts' April 13th post did not mention protesters blocking traffic. A press release sent by event organizers prior to March 28th No Kings rally stated that attendees are encouraged to remain on sidewalks, follow local laws, and engage respectfully with others. Those who attended were told to stand along the street, not in the street. Several who marched down the street apparently were members of an anti-Trump group called the Resistors. Potts is a member. When the Daily Citizen reached out this week, she said via Facebook Messenger she was unavailable, adding, quote, "But I'll pass your message on to the other Resistors, who also received citations. I know they would love to talk to you." No one from the group contacted the Daily Citizen prior to publication. A reporter reached out to a different member of the group, and she declined to comment on the record. In a follow-up Facebook post on March 15th, Potts said she was not concerned that she got a summons as she, quote, chose civil disobedience to show her disdain for the Trump administration. She wrote that she was concerned about police using technology to write tickets days later instead of at the scene. My concern is for those that joined us on the street and are now facing fines they may not be able to afford, Potts wrote. According to the city's website, violating the pedestrian safety ordinance can result in a minimum $100 fine. One of the hundreds of people who commented on Potts' post was a man named Mark Rowland of Greene County who wrote, "A group of people did take over the roadway briefly." The Springfield Daily Citizen contacted Rowland and asked him what he saw. He said he was driving along Battlefield Road, honking his horn in support of protesters. "I had gone eastbound all the way down the parade, honking and saluting and celebrating everyone. And when I got to the end at Glenstone, I went past about a block and a half and found a place to turn around and headed back. Both eastbound lanes were occupied by these women, spaced out as though they were in a marching band. I used to be in a marching band, and my first thought was that it almost looked like they must have practiced," Rowland said. "I mean, they were big time taking over the street. The cops chose to shut off the flow of traffic and diverted cars clear back at Fremont to avoid cars coming upon them," he said. "They were pretty unabashed, and the cop cars immediately kind of lined their periphery. My wife and I were both a little concerned that there was about to be some form of violence, but it seemed like the police handled it pretty well. They got out of their cars in a kind of cordon around the women," Rowland said. "The cops were backing them up and doing a good job of not escalating things," Rowland said. Rowland, who is 70, said he was inspired by the defiance. "I thought it was kind of significant that they chose to break the rules and take over the road," he said. "People were pretty passionate about this kingly leader. It was very heartwarming to see these gals step out. But it was probably a little too audacious, and they probably deserve some tickets."
This one comes from the Springfield Business Journal. Cooper Estates homeowners sue the city over an East Division development. The city of Springfield is being sued by the Cooper Estates Property Owners Association, which is challenging a development plan on 48 acres of property at the city's eastern limit. Springfield City Council last year approved a 510-unit planned development at 3830 East Division Street by East Division Development LLC with funding by the California-based private equity firm Canyon View Capital Incorporated, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. In their petition, filed April 13th, residents of Cooper Estates, which is a neighborhood adjoining the approved development, says the city's approval is not in keeping with the city's Forward SGF comprehensive plan, a requirement under state law according to the plaintiff's petition. Thus, they are seeking an injunction and declaratory judgment. The petition states that the Forward SGF designates the development site as a residential neighborhood traditional place type defined in a quoted section of the plan as a post-war residential neighborhoods that contain predominantly single-family detached dwellings with uniform setbacks, building designs, and parcel sizes. The city's comprehensive plan does not permit large multi-story apartment buildings in the residential traditional place type, the petition states. It argues that Forward SGF would allow limited, low-intensity multifamily uses in such a place and type. For example, multifamily structures like duplexes, triplexes, and similar structures. Past SBJ reporting shows a layout that includes single-family housing and villas along the east and south perimeters of the property with townhomes and duplexes inside the single-family houses and an interior that includes 10 three-story apartment buildings surrounded by amenities including walking trails. Cora Scott, the City Director of Public Information and Civic Engagement, told SBJ this morning, "We became aware of this lawsuit through media accounts. Since it is now pending litigation, we choose not to comment at this time." At the public hearing for the development, attorney Brian Fisher of Neal & Newman LLC said he represented the approximately 400 residents of Cooper Estates. The issue here is that the planned development simply does not comply with the Forward SGF program that this city spent 4 years developing and adopting as its comprehensive plan, Fisher told council, according to past SBJ reporting. The petition states that the proposed development has a density of 15.5 dwelling units per acre, which is more than 5 times the density of Cooper Estates. Additionally, the apartment buildings included in the plan are greater in height, mass, and density than any residential structure in Cooper Estates or other adjacent neighborhoods. The suit seeks a declaratory judgment stating the council ordinance approving the development violates state law because it is not made in accordance with the city's comprehensive plan and is thus unlawful, invalid, and without force or effect. It also seeks declaratory judgment stating that the proposed development violates the city's land development code. A third count of the petition seeks injunctive relief to prevent the city from taking action to implement its ordinance approving the development. This is a developing story.
And the McDonald's at Glenstone and Cherry is set for demolition and rebuild. Ryan Collins from the Springfield Daily Citizen writes that the McDonald's at the intersection of Glenstone Avenue and Cherry Street in Springfield was in the process of being demolished on April 14th. The article begins with a photo of the McDonald's in the middle of demolition. It looks like a tornado went through. A building permit filed with the City of Springfield shows that a new McDonald's will be constructed at the site located at 528 South Glenstone Avenue. McDonald's confirmed plans to demolish the building and rebuild on the site. Kristen Bergman of Bergman Communications, which represents McDonald's, said in an April 15th email to the Daily Citizen. The building was over 40 years old and McDonald's tries to rebuild after 4 decades, Bergman said. The new restaurant will face south and will have the newest and best technology McDonald's has to offer, Bergman said in the email. The building permit was filed in August 2025, but was issued on April 10th, according to city records. The building permit lays out a complete demolition of restaurant to build a McDonald's with a drive-through. At the same location, the company has filed a permit to install a new LED sign. While the restaurant is closed during the rebuild, employees were transferred to McDonald's located at 234 South National Avenue. Those employees will remain at the national location through the summer, Bergman said. The 4,320 square foot property was owned by McDonald's Real Estate Company and was last purchased in March 2025, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. The property was appraised at $919,500. Editor's note, this story has been updated with comment from McDonald's.
From the Springfield News-Leader from sports. Former Drury basketball star Paige Robinson signs with the Atlanta Dream. The WNBA's Atlanta Dream has signed former Drury women's basketball standout Paige Robinson to a 2026 training camp contract, the organization announced Monday, April 13th. Robinson, who competed for Drury from 2018 to 2022, earned the NCAA Division II Player of the Year honors during the 2020-21 season and helped lead the Lady Panthers to a 123-8 record during her 4-year career. Drury captured 4 Great Lakes Valley Conference championships, 2 regional titles, 2 NCAA Division II Final Four berths, and a national championship game appearance in 2021. Robinson was a 4-time first-team All-GLVC selection, a 2-time GLVC Tournament MVP, and Midwest Regional Tournament MVP. Following graduation, Robinson transferred to Illinois State for the 2022-23 season. In her lone year with the Redbirds, she earned both Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Year honors, becoming just the second player in league history to accomplish this feat. Despite the shortened season due to COVID-19 and injury, Robinson surpassed 2,000 career points at Drury and set a program record with 271 three-pointers made. At the time of her graduation, she was the only Lady Panther in program history to rank in Drury's top 12 for career points with 2,016, rebounds 451, assists 344, steals 190, and three-pointers 271. Robinson was selected 31st overall in the 2023 WNBA draft by the Dallas Wings and has since played professionally overseas, including time with IDK Eurostran in Spain's Liga Femina Endesa and Herner TC in Germany. Robinson is expected to report to training camp with Atlanta on April 19th. The Dream will open preseason play April 29th against Chicago.
And happy birthday to some celebrities celebrating today, this April 17th. Actress Jennifer Garner turns 54 today. Victoria Beckham, better known by some of us as Posh Spice from the Spice Girls, turns 52 today. Sean Bean, who is Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, he turns 67 today. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Rooney Mara, turns 41 today. And Henry Ian Cusick, better known for his role as Desmond on the TV show Lost, turns 59 today. And speaking of the arts, young artists take center stage at the Dots Fringe Festival in 2026. Springfield Daily Citizen's Jeff Kessinger writes that devising original theater Springfield's Fringe Fest is giving the stage to young performers in 2026 with a new category for artists aged 12 to 18. The third annual Dots Fringe Festival is July 9th through 12th at the Judith Enyart Reynolds School of Performing Arts for Springfield Little Theater, better known as the Judy, at 237 South Florence Avenue. Tickets will go on sale June 1st through the Dots website. That is www.dotheatre.org. The Dots Fringe Festival bills itself as a place to showcase the newest original theatrical creations of local and visiting playwrights and theater makers, talented performers, and outstanding creatives. Fringe Festival submissions increased from 15 last year to more than 20 in 2026, including the Young Artists Fringe. This year's festival will also include curated short films by Sato 48, as well as Crankies, previously featured in the Midwest Mid-Best Cranky Fest and late night events. This year's Fringe selections represent a wide range of ideas and genres, Gretchen Teague, Dot's executive director, said in a media release. From musicals to horror to physical theater to puppetry, there is certainly something for everyone. The 2026 Dots Fringe Festival includes new work from several returning artists: Joshua Arnett, the Dots Ensemble, Charlie Gessner, Josh Hawkins, Sandy Lee Johnson, Sean Parker and Necrobroth Theater, Ned Wilkinson. The festival has also attracted several new artists. Queen City Shakespeare Company will present a 15th anniversary production of Springfield area playwright Bryant Turnage's Hamlet vs. Zombies. Other newcomers include Mo Callahan, Jeff Chalifou, Jonah Bernard Drake, Lauren Eileen Henke, Matt James, Brett Johnston, Megan Keevely, and Kelsey Vanderstein. The Young Artists Fringe includes work by Grant Doherty, Dakota Pyle, and Eli Roberts. Also participating are the Springfield Little Theater Thespians, led by Jessica Bauer, and the SLT Devising Summer Intensive and SLT Academy students, led by Teague. Dots Fringe Festival said there are still roles available in many shows. Open call auditions will be held at 7 p.m. on April 20th and 21st at the Judy. Performers are asked to prepare a monologue, a song, and a special skill. Do you want to go? What is it? Devising Original Theater Springfield's 2026 Fringe Festival. When? July 9th through 12th. And where? The Judith Enyart Reynolds School of the Performing Arts for Springfield Little Theater, located at 237 South Florence Avenue. Tickets are $15 per show or $100 for a festival pass, available starting June 1st through the Dots website. For more information, you can visit that Dots website and follow the organization on Facebook at facebook.com/Dots Springfield.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Come by and see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, providing a significant savings as a token of appreciation for their service. Additionally, the store features a weekly clothing sale where all clothing items are available at 50% off every Wednesday. Seniors aged 55 and older benefit from a 25% discount every Tuesday, making shopping more affordable for the senior community. A quick note about today's weather forecast from Jamie Warner at OzarksFirst.com. One more wave of storms to sweep through Friday night. It's been an active week of April weather. Each day this week has featured a risk of severe weather, with one more to go before we get out of this stormy stretch. Today's round of severe weather was isolated in nature, but still damaging, with large hail falling in a few severe storms on Thursday afternoon. A storm over Iberia, Missouri produced hail up to tennis ball sized. The storm threat appears to have passed for today. Outside of an isolated shower this evening, it looks like the rest of the night will be quiet and mild. Oh, this was yesterday's. Hang on, sorry. Posted 16 hours ago, so this is the most current thing on Ozarks First. Friday will come with warm and windy weather. There should be enough sunshine to get afternoon temperatures in the 70s and 80s. A strong cold front will spark strong to severe thunderstorms by late afternoon from Oklahoma to Wisconsin. Severe weather is likely with initial storms with all modes possible. Some of this activity will get into west central Missouri by late afternoon. Storms will quickly line up heading into early evening, gradually shifting southeast through the area Friday night. Once storms line up, there will be a transition to more of a wind, brief spin-up threat. The overall risk of severe weather may diminish quickly as the line crosses I-44, as the storms will run into some resistance. The rain will clear the area shortly after sunrise on Saturday. Rain amounts should be heaviest to the northwest, with models hitting at another soaker north of I-44, where flash flooding may be a problem again. Chilly air will pour into the area by Saturday morning, with temperatures dipping into the 40s. The day will remain cool despite mostly sunny skies. Breezy northwest winds will make for jacket weather in the afternoon, with temperatures climbing into the upper 50s. Patchy frost is possible Sunday morning before temperatures climb into the mid to upper 60s during the afternoon. A quiet weekend will be welcome, and it looks like the quiet stretch will continue through the middle of next week. A pattern shift by late in the week will bring stormier weather back to the middle of the country.
Well, not quite time yet, but as we warm up, a local mom worries that the pool at Grant Beach Park might be closed for a second consecutive summer. So we talked with the answer man, Steve Pokin from the Springfield Daily Citizen, and she says, "What's the latest with the Grant Beach Pool House? As summer approaches, I'm wondering why no repairs have taken place since the storm damage of a year ago. Will children and families in the Grant Beach community have to endure another summer without their local public swimming pool?" Nicole Teitmeyer of Springfield. The answer, in short, is maybe. The Grant Beach Pool might be closed this summer too because of storm damage to the pool house from April 29th, 2025. According to Jenny Filmer Edwards, spokesperson for the Springfield Greene County Park Board, the wind lifted the roof from the building, allowing rain to enter the interior and cause water damage. Several factors have delayed replacement of the roof, which was a total loss. The greatest challenge has been that the damaged roof deck, installed in the 1950s, was made of gypsum, a common building material at the time, but very rarely used today. This, plus the extent of damage, required the services of a structural engineer with Miller Engineering to design a new low-pitch roof with asphalt shingles to replace the flat gypsum roof. Both our insurers and FEMA are typically focused on covering exact replacement, not improvement, of damaged structures, and it has taken time for these two entities to review reimbursement for a different design and material. It will cost an estimated $275,000 to repair the pool house. That figure includes engineering and design. City Council has appropriated $90,000 in carryover funds for this repair, Edwards said via email. We expect the balance to be covered by FEMA reimbursement, property insurance, and/or Park Board funds. Design was completed in February. Construction bids were advertised in March, and bids were due earlier this month. Members of the Park Board are reviewing the bids. Edwards stated, "Once construction begins, we estimate it will take about 90 days to finish. We have not yet awarded a contract, but 90 days from today is already mid-July, more than halfway through the outdoor pool season. Construction timing will determine whether the Park Board will be able to open Grant Beach Pool at all this summer. Our outdoor pool season ends August 16th. It is super disappointing to the Park Board that we're missing a big portion, if not all, of a second summer at Grant Beach Pool. We know the folks in the neighborhood, and especially the kids, are also disappointed. The good news is that Parks is committed to making the repairs needed to get Grant Beach Pool operational again. The other good news is that Grant Beach is one of 5 parks slated for development of a master plan starting this summer. Having a master plan in place positions Grant Beach Park for additional improvement and redevelopment as funding becomes available." I asked Edwards if it was possible to open the pool without opening the pool house. She said no. The pool cannot operate without access to restrooms, which are located inside the pool house. Parks pool operations follow the CDC Model Aquatic Health Code, which requires access to toilets, showers, hand washing, diaper change stations, and changing rooms to maintain hygiene at public pools. It takes little imagination to ponder the downside of not having restrooms at a pool. Grant Beach Pool will not be filled with water until after repairs are complete. This is Answer Man column number 172.
From the Springfield News-Leader. Something to do this weekend. Planet Unity Earth Day celebration returns to Springfield April 17th and 18th. Unity of Springfield will present the 9th annual Planet Unity celebration taking place at 2214 East Seminole Street on Friday, April 17th and Saturday, April 18th, according to a community announcement. This event is free and open to the public. The event kicks off at 6 p.m. on April 17th with food, drink to include beer and wine and live music. The main event begins at 10 a.m. April 18th and will feature live music, expert environmental speakers to include the Dickerson Park Zoo's presentation Native Animals, food and drink, local artisan vendors, kids activities, crafts, bounce houses, and more. Eden Village will be on site all day April 18th, providing education and activities for all ages. Several residents from Eden Village will sell their homemade crafts. There will be a food and drink available for purchase, as well as local vendors, raffles, and a silent auction. There will be door prizes given out every half an hour. Unity of Springfield is bringing the Planet Unity Earth Day celebration to Springfield for the 9th year in a row. According to the announcement, the goal for the event is to raise awareness on the importance of taking care of the planet and to create community connection through music, education, food, and fun. For the schedule of events and more details, visit unityofspringfield.org/planet-unity. This story was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. And then more things to look forward to from the Springfield News-Leader. Big and Rich will headline a 9/11 tribute concert in the Ozarks. Big and Rich are set to headline a 9/11 tribute concert at Black Oak Amphitheater on Table Rock Lake, according to an announcement. The event, scheduled for September 11th, will honor first responders, military personnel, and others who serve and protect communities. The concert will feature performances by country music duo Big and Rich, along with Craig Morgan, Andy Ross, and Jacob Smalley. The event is expected to blend high-energy performances with moments of reflection, concluding with a fireworks display over the Ozarks. Tickets are available starting today, April 17th. Tickets for the concert will go on sale April 17th and will be available exclusively at blackoakamp.com. This will be more than just a concert. It's a night of unity, remembrance, and appreciation, Tom Abbott, the general manager of Black Oak Amphitheater, said in an announcement. We invite everyone to join us in honoring the individuals who protect and serve our communities while enjoying an unforgettable night of music. The concert is part of the 25th anniversary of 9/11, according to the announcement. We got some new restaurants opening up, new coffee shops. 2 coffee and breakfast spots are open in Springfield, with 2 more on the way. It's a good week for folks who like breakfast food and coffee in the Ozarks. 2 places have opened that offer up fresh baked goods, and 2 other places for coffee and sweets are working on their opening. Big Baby Bagels at 1427 East Cherry Street next to the Royal is having its soft opening this month. Its grand opening is scheduled for May 5th, according to signage. The spot is serving up bagels from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. The bagel shop is in the building that formerly housed Scully's Ramen, which closed January 30th after nearly a decade. It offers bagels that are made in-house with flavors like dark chocolate chip, cinnamon crunch, Asiago sesame, everything, rosemary salt, and poblano cheddar. The shop also serves hot and cold coffee from Ozark Mountain Coffee Company. Scully's Ramen owners Laura and Joe Still began their venture as a fried chicken sandwich food truck in 2016, according to previous News-Leader reporting, but pivoted to Asian American fusion fare. In 2019, the Stills sold their food truck to move into the current brick-and-mortar location beside the Royal. And now a new coffee shop, Hollister-based Table Rock Coffee Roasters, is coming to Springfield soon. The coffee shop is moving into the location that formerly housed Schumann Meats Company at 4406 South Campbell Avenue. Table Rock Coffee Roasters is a veteran-owned shop that roasts coffee and has 3 locations. It serves up drip coffee, traditional espresso drinks like cortados and cappuccinos, refreshers and dirty sodas, lattes and flavors like banana bread and snickerdoodle, and specialty drinks like the Ozark Trail, which has chocolate, Irish cream, and almond in it. The location in Hollister at 162 Industrial Park Drive, Suite C, is the company's headquarters, where they roast coffee on site while also serving it alongside food items such as its lunch menu. One of its Branson locations, 1715 West 76 Country Boulevard, is a drive-through with some outdoor seating on the 76 Strip. Its 3rd location is in Tanger Mall, 300 Tanger Boulevard, Suite 119, and offers a full menu of espresso drinks, smoothies, and specialty-grade coffee. Schumann Meat Company closed around April of 2025. Owners Chad and Julie Schumann sued Patrick Nett in May of 2025, alleging he used their money to run his own businesses and to prevent foreclosure of his home, which resulted in the permanent closure of Schumann Meat Company. An Arab cafe and market prepares to open in downtown Springfield. Middle Beast Cafe and Market has announced it will soon open at 715 West College Street. The cafe will serve up Arabic cuisine, tea, and smoothies, as well as sweet baked goods. The market will carry Arabic products and spices. It has not yet announced a grand opening date. The Cafe and Market is the second Middle Eastern food spot to open up in downtown Springfield in the last year. Asa Al Furat, which serves up Iraqi food and drink, opened September of 2025 in 207 Park Central East. The Golden Goose Cafe is now open in the Library Center at 4653 South Campbell Avenue. It's open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. The cafe offers beverages as well as baked from scratch goods like breakfast buns with sausage, egg, and cheese, as well as cookies. In addition to coffee, the menu also includes refreshers and mocktails. The Golden Goose Cafe is the first coffee vendor in the Library Center since Polymath Cafe closed its location there in May of 2024. While the library has hosted coffee vendors since its opening in 1999, according to prior News-Leader reporting, the COVID-19 pandemic ended a 12-year run for Mudhouse at that location. Other vendors like Seattle Roast Coffee and Polymath Cafe have struggled in that spot, with neither lasting longer than a year.
And Jordan Creek Renewal Project isolates a downtown Springfield gallery. This story from Marta Mees in the Springfield News-Leader says that efforts to bring Jordan Creek back above ground have been ongoing for more than a year. The project, which still has several months of construction ahead, includes lots of moving dirt, heavy equipment, and several lengthy road closures that have left a local art gallery struggling to stay afloat. The city's Renew Jordan Creek project aims to mitigate both flooding and revitalize downtown by creating green space, outdoor amenities, and a natural waterway across two large urban blocks. While signs signal that businesses are still open, those on the north side of the project area, including Fresh Gallery, have been cut off from pedestrian and tourist traffic that often comes from Park Central Square. Boonville Avenue, on which Fresh Gallery is located, has been closed since late October and is expected to remain closed until late June or early July. Jennifer Hyde, an artist herself, owns and is the curator for Fresh Gallery. She said since construction on the project began, the gallery has seen foot traffic drop drastically. The gallery, which has been around for 15 years, displays and sells fine art created by local artists and hosts guest artists, so exposure to visitors is vital to support the gallery itself as well as the artists who contribute to it. Last year, Fresh Gallery was named the best art gallery in Missouri and in the top 20 in America by the American Art Awards. When you reduce the visibility and the access of all of those things for a group of artists who are trying to make their living at this, it reduces their income by that much because there's nobody coming in that's buying art when traffic is down, Hyde said. Our goal has been to help the artists retain and create their value within the collector community. The art is no less valuable just because our audience is sort of unable to get to us. It doesn't devalue this art. With fewer eyes on the gallery walls, she said it has been painful to see some artists have to sell their art elsewhere where it may not command the same price simply to make ends meet. Artists pay a fee for wall space, so when less traffic means fewer sales, it begins to be harder to justify the continuous investment, Hyde said. She said being at the epicenter of construction has not only made foot traffic nearly non-existent, but also means noisy equipment passes by the front door constantly. The space, which prior to construction saw special events interest grow, is no longer appealing for parties. We can't draw people into the building because of how gross and messy the experience is just even driving into this area, Hyde said. Overall, Hyde said she supports the project and acknowledges that the efforts to beautify and bring more activity to this part of downtown were long needed and ultimately are likely to help the gallery thrive. But in order to make it to the other side, she said the city could have done more to assist businesses. Barricades to close roads include business open signs. Kristen Millam, the city's senior communications coordinator, said the city also has moved lighted message board around to encourage traffic to the businesses. She said outreach to impacted businesses and efforts to accommodate them during closures have been ongoing. But Hyde said those efforts were insufficient and had suggested pedestrian maps to help those on foot navigate how to get to the other side of construction. She also hoped the city would offer stipends to the impacted businesses to be able to cover bills as profits plummet, but instead said the city only offered a loan program. It doesn't feel fair to have to go into debt to sustain our existence here throughout something that we did not create, Hyde said. While Milam said Boonville is still on track to be reopened in midsummer, Hyde said being cut off from pedestrian traffic for the most active months of events and festivals that attract visitors will hurt. Everything that happens downtown, we are not just proverbial on an island anymore, like I used to joke about. We're like actually the faraway island where there is no ferry. It's too far to swim, she said. The entirety of the project remains generally on time and on budget, Milam said, though to make up some lost time in the construction schedule, the city is working with Missouri State University to move forward with the closure of Phelps Street to finish installing stormwater box culverts across the E-Factory parking lot. Renew Jordan Creek is scheduled to be complete in late 2026. The total price tag for this phase of the project sits around $38 million and is being funded by a plethora of grant funds, pandemic relief funds, and local allocations, including $6.5 million in special obligation bonds. As it looks for new ways to attract visitors and generate sales, Hyde said the gallery is revamping a portion of the building to serve in the future as a classroom or workshop space. Reinvention is not new to Fresh Gallery. For years, the local gallery operated under Springfield Regional Arts Council. After the nonprofit announced it would not continue operations of the gallery in November 2024, Hyde took over and joined the artists, hoping to continue the high-quality venue. Since then, she has worked to transition Fresh Gallery into an independent business, which was growing until Renew Jordan Creek got underway at the end of 2024. Moving the gallery elsewhere would mean losing a portion of the current audience, and she said she specialized in space like the building at 401 North Boonville Avenue. What that specialized space offers is hard to find. Taking sales online, while not an option, Hyde said, takes away from the personal connections and relationships patrons can make with the artists, their stories, and their art in person. With Boonville expected to remain closed through half the summer, Hyde agreed to ask for help from the community. Her friend set up a GoFundMe to raise awareness and funds to support the local business throughout construction. As of Thursday, April 16th, the donation site had raised $400. While Fresh Gallery continues to fight to stay open and looks forward to the project's completion, Hyde said it remains a welcoming space for all to connect with art. We let everybody in here, and I want to be able to continue to do that. It's how this can stay a community asset, she said. We just want to keep going and uplifting as many artists as we can touch along the way.
We are broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, the world's first retail store to use NaviLens to help navigate and inform blind and visually impaired individuals while shopping with little to no assistance. For more information, visit our website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Aldi plans a fourth Springfield store in the Southwest Corridor. Aldi is making moves for its fourth store in Springfield with its eye on a property in the growing southwest corridor of the city. The grocery chain filed building project plans with the city of Springfield on April 13th to start construction on a store at 3960 West Washita Street, according to city records. The location would put Springfield's fourth Aldi near other major retailers like Petco, Ulta Beauty, and Walmart Supercenter in the Springfield Plaza Shopping Center. The plans are pending and have not been approved by city officials. The building project has a proposed start date of July 1st, 2026, and a proposed stop date of November 18th, 2026. Aldi's building project plan shows the company will retrofit the grocery store into an existing mercantile space. According to the plans filed with the city, the space will need a new freezer, cooler, HVAC system, electrical package, and rooftop units. The entire shopping center had more than 150,000 square feet and was owned by Grace One LLC, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. The property was appraised at $7.5 million. Grace One was registered to Timothy O'Reilly, according to Missouri Secretary of State records. Ryan Collins is the Business and Economic Development reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Collins graduated from Glendale High School in 2011 before studying journalism and economics at the University of Missouri-Columbia. He previously worked for Bloomberg News. You can contact him at 417-849-2570 or rcollins@sgfcitizen.org.
And a new You Pick Nixa Berry Farm opens with the season's first strawberries. Springfield Daily Citizen's Zoe McIntyre says that Riverdale Berry Farm is opening for visitors to pick the first fresh strawberries of the season at 10 a.m. this past Tuesday, April 14th. Amy and Russell Gann, co-owners of Walnut Street Barbershop in Springfield, have spent 3 years preparing the soil and cultivating strawberry, blackberry, and blueberry bushes on about 8 acres of their property just south of Nix's city limits. The couple bought the riverfront acreage at 889 West Riverdale Drive with the plan to build a home and move into the country. Russell began eyeing part of the property for a berry patch when he learned how fertile the ground was. I've kind of rolled that berry farm idea around in my head for a few years at different times, but no, I didn't really have that in mind when we bought this, he said. And then I did some soil tests and things, and I realized that this dirt was really good dirt, and I thought it would just be a shame to not grow something on it. 3 varieties of strawberries are ready to pick, with strawberry season mostly running through May. Blackberries will come in June and July. In 2027, Riverdale Berry Farm expects to have its first crop of blueberries. Owning a berry farm is endless labor, Russell said. It just goes on and on. It's all handwork, a lot of handwork, just hundreds of hours. That labor included drilling a well on the property and installing irrigation lines along each row of berries. The rows are numerous, totaling 1,000 blackberry bushes, 1,000 blueberry bushes, and 15,000 strawberry plants. The couple had help from their 2 children, 1 nephew, and Russell's parents, who are in their 80s. They helped us plant strawberries and blueberries, Amy said. On the farm's first day of picking, Amy will be working together with her mom. She's going to come help. We're definitely very family-oriented people, she said. Amy, maiden name St. George, has deep roots in the area. Each year since 1890, members of her family have held a week-long reunion on the same road where the berry farm is located. The Ganns have had many excited neighbors stop in since they began developing the farm. I think people are just excited to see us do something with it other than sell the dirt, Amy said. Do you want to go? Well, you can pick strawberries for $5 per pound and pre-picked for $6.25. And that is located at 889 West Riverdale Drive in Nixon, Missouri. And picking started at 10 a.m. this past Tuesday, April 14th. The days and hours may vary during the season based on the ripeness of fruit. And you can learn more from Riverdale Berry Farm on Facebook.
From the Springfield Business Journal, amid flat state funding, MSU increases tuition by 5%. Tuition for most undergraduate students at Missouri State University will be $317 per credit hour for the 2026-27 year, an increase of $15. The 5% increase was approved April 15th by the MSU Board of Governors. The Springfield-based campus is facing flat funding from the state going into a new fiscal year, while expenses, including required contributions to the retirement system, are going up. Matt Morris, Vice President for Administration and Finance, said the tuition increase is higher than the inflation level, but comparable to other public four-year colleges in Missouri. Other institutions are having similar conversations with their boards, and they're in different phases of this, Morris said. Some have already gained approval for their tuition increases. Some are yet to occur in May. Morris said preliminary reports showed the tuition increase will be between 3% and 10%. A significant portion of undergraduate students at MSU hail from Missouri. Those who are not residents of the Show Me State will pay $678 a credit hour, an increase of $32. A year ago, the MSU board increased tuition by 4%, which translated to $12 for in-state undergraduate students and $15 for those from outside Missouri. With the headwinds we're facing with appropriations, it just makes sense that we would have to do something higher than inflation, said Board Vice Chair Travis Freeman, a certified financial planner in St. Louis. The average cost for an in-state undergraduate student who attend MSU will go from $10,732 a year to $11,340. Tuition for graduate students will also go up to $414 a credit hour, an increase of $20 for in-state students, and $825 a credit hour, up $39 for enrollees from outside Missouri. Nearly 60% of the annual operating budget at MSU typically comes from tuition and fees. The student service fee was restructured slightly to be $70 per credit hour up to 9 credit hours and a flat rate of $630 for 9 or more credit hours. Currently, the fee is $836 per semester for students enrolled in 7 or more credit hours. MSU will also charge a flat fee of $200 for athletics and $85 for technology each semester. The adjustment is due to how we're assessing the fee, not changes, he said. MSU will start charging a $40 application fee for prospective undergraduate students. The application fee for international undergraduate student applicants, which has been $40, will go up by $10. Dawn Medley, Vice President for Enrollment Management, said the application fee was dropped during the pandemic. She said reinstating the fee will likely reduce the volume of fraudulent applications that are submitted annually. We have many ways students can have that fee waived. Anybody who has high financial need who qualifies for free or reduced lunch, they can easily receive that fee waiver, Medley said. The university is dropping the $150 enrollment deposit, but will charge a $225 fee for student and up to 2 family members to attend Student Orientation, Advisement, and Registration, or SOAR. The refund rules have changed. The university will offer a 100% refund when a semester-length course is dropped in the first 10 days and a 50% refund for dropping days 11 through 20, but no refunds will be provided after the 20th day. Currently, the university also offers deadlines for students to get a refund of 25% or 75%, but those options will go away. MSU program fees vary and cover additional costs related to faculty, equipment, facilities, clinical instruction, and supervision for selected programs. The cost for high school students enrolled in dual credit courses at MSU will remain flat at $75 per credit hour. Students living on campus are expected to see a slight increase in room and board, which is not to exceed 2.7% this year. MSU will charge slightly more for infants, toddlers, and preschool students who are part of the Child Development Center. Greenwood Laboratory School will start charging a $300 enrollment fee for new students this year. Tuition for K through 8 will be $7,600, an increase of $300. High school tuition will be $8,250, an increase of $325.
And 2 men have been charged following a 3-pound fentanyl bust outside of a Springfield hotel. Jackie Rewalt from the Springfield Daily Citizen says that 2 men are facing federal drug charges following a Drug Enforcement Agency investigation earlier this month at a hotel in South Springfield. Nicholas Moore, age 25, and Dundee D. Hamilton Jr., also 25, are charged with possession with the intent to distribute large amounts of fentanyl. Authorities say Moore and Hamilton were busted with more than 3 pounds of fentanyl. According to charging documents, the DEA had reasonable suspicion Hamilton and Moore were using a room at the La Quinta Inn at 2535 South Campbell Avenue in Springfield to, quote, process and package fentanyl for distribution. Agents conducted surveillance at the motel earlier this month and allegedly observed Moore and Hamilton coming and going. Following headline reads, men allegedly attempted to flee. On April 6th, the complaint says agents observed Moore exit the back door of the La Quinta Inn by himself and stand for a few seconds. A short time later, agents observed Hamilton exit the back door of the motel carrying a black bag. The 2 men then got into a silver Taurus and drove to an adjacent parking lot. According to the criminal complaint, officers knew Hamilton had multiple outstanding warrants and made the decision to arrest him. As agents approached, both men allegedly exited the vehicle and fled on foot. Agents chased and apprehended the men. According to the complaint, Hamilton was found to be in possession of a blue capsule of powder and 2 white pills believed to be counterfeit fentanyl pills. Agents searched the vehicle and found the black bag Hamilton allegedly carried out of the hotel. Inside the black bag was approximately 1.4 kilograms of a white substance that field tested positive for fentanyl, according to the complaint. Hamilton and Moore are each being held at the Greene County Jail as their cases move forward in federal court.
From the Springfield Business Journal, Governor's Office lays out next steps for $30 million in restricted funding. Governor Mike Kehoe recently said $30 million in restricted state funding from the last fiscal year that has been proposed for a Springfield Convention and Event Center is now in the hands of Missouri lawmakers. Gabby Picard, Communications Director for Kehoe's office, said the $30 million in restricted funding is earmarked for the Springfield Convention Center project and that it's slated to stay in restriction for the remainder of the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th. The Missouri Senate can take it out if they choose to do so and appropriate it for something else, Picard said via email. If they do not, the governor has the opportunity to veto the funding. Voters on April 7th rejected a 3% lodging tax on hotels, motels, and short-term rentals that supporters said would be mostly paid by out-of-town visitors. Revenue from the tax was to help fund the estimated $175 million convention center project. City leaders have said they do not plan to try again. It was the second lodging tax measure in 5 months to be voted down. Springfield Business Journal sought comment after Kehoe spoke to KY3. In an April 9th article published by KY3, Kehoe said, "We're in a very tough budget year." Kehoe told KY3 that without a local match, Senate leadership and appropriations may believe money is no longer needed, and they are likely to take that into consideration as they look to other needs in the state. The will of the people has spoken twice now, so we'll let our appropriators, as we move the budget through the process to figure out what the best steps are, Kehoe told KY3.
And a Springfield bookstore with boozy ambitions opened on historic Commercial Street. They had a ribbon cutting this week. I actually attended that. This story from Springfield Daily Citizen and Ryan Collins begins with a photo of Lorelei Carroll, the owner of One More Page, as she stands in front of the custom painted logo inside her bookstore. It says One More Page and has a photo of a black and white dog with its paws holding a book open. It's very cute. Springfield's newest bookstore officially opened on historic Commercial Street last week, and the owner plans to expand the business with a liquor license soon. One More Page, located at 306 East Commercial Street, held a soft opening April 7th and held a ribbon-cutting ceremony with the C Street Merchants Association on April 15th. Owner Lorelei Carroll said historic C Street was her ideal place to put the store. Commercial Street, to me, is the place that I've seen evolve over the last 20 years to such a vibrant community, Carroll said. And I thought, if Springfield needs another bookstore, this is where they need one. Following is a heading that reads, "Assortment of new books to choose from," followed by a photo of a variety of books, including, I can point out, a mystery, and it looks like a fantasy novel there as well, a nice variety. It says all of the books on the shelves at the One More Page bookstore are new editions as opposed to resale or donated books. The bookstore features an eclectic selection of new books, including romance, mystery, LGBTQ, nonfiction, and more. "I really just wanted to have something that would appeal to a variety of people," Carroll said. "I'm just trying to have a little bit of everything." One More Page's logo incorporates Carroll's dog, a pit mix named Sadie. Though Sadie is a little too excitable to frequent the store, One More Page is definitely dog-friendly. Canine assistants are welcome to shop with their humans. "I would love to have Sadie here, but she's way too enthusiastic," Carroll said. "We probably won't have a pet in store, but pets are welcome." Following is a headline that reads, "Carroll purchases historic C Street building that houses the bookstore." There's another photo of Lorelei as she stands inside her C Street store. That was taken last Friday the 10th. It's taken from above, a bird's eye view of her inside her shop. It's super cozy. There's a couch and seating, a coffee table. It looks like a nice place to sit and hang and read. Carroll not only invested into a business in the heart of C Street, she purchased the building that houses the bookstore. She said she closed on the property purchase last fall, and renovations began almost immediately. Carroll declined to disclose the financial terms of the property acquisition or the total financial investment to open One More Page. The property formerly housed Basilico Italian Cafe, which closed in late 2024, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. The 3,300 square foot building was purchased in October 2025 and owned by Sirens Rock, LLC, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. The property was appraised at $204,400. Sirens Rock is registered to Carroll, according to Missouri Secretary of State records. The renovations were mostly cosmetic, Carroll said, but after purchasing the property, she had to jump through hoops with the city to change the property's zoning, and that process took longer than she expected. Carol bought the building as an investment into the community, she said. I want to be a real part of the community, Carol said. I wanted to be a part of C Street. I wanted to be fully invested, figuratively and literally, in this community. Carol grew up in the Ozarks, studying geology and geography at Missouri State University. After college, she managed residential and commercial properties for her family's business, Gillen Waters Developers Incorporated, including notable Springfield properties like Kickapoo Corners and Brentwood Center. Following is a headline that reads, "One more page has boozy aspirations." And there's a photo of a customer, I assume, Azria Perro, as she browses the shelves at One More Page bookstore on C Street. The C Street bookstore will eventually offer beer and wine for customers as they peruse the book aisles. Carol is starting the process of applying for a liquor license, and she hopes to be able to offer guests libations by the end of the year. One More Page will probably do glasses of wine and maybe beer, just so people can come have a glass of wine and look at books, talk about books, just kind of hang out, Carol said. But the focus of the business will always be the literature. We'll be more bookstore than bar, Carol said. The business owner is planning events at One More Page that celebrate the community. Part of my mission is that I want to be part of the community at large and help serve the neighborhoods around us, Carol said. I want to do story time, I want to have local authors, and I'd love to do some drag queen story times as well. You know, we want to be here for everyone. As an editor's note, this story has been updated to correct details on the ribbon cutting ceremony. Next up from the Springfield News-Leader and Susan Shuk, Springfield couple sharing Route 66 artwork for Centennial Kickoff. You probably know Randy Bacon best for his portraits, intimate pictures that focus in on the subject's face, often in black and white, capturing their emotions and a sense of who they are. He's trying something different with his newest exhibit, produced alongside his wife, Heidi Herman Bacon. Two Voices, One Road features 37 black and white photographs and 18 mixed media works. The exhibit captures the essence and history of places along Route 66, with portraits just as evocative as those in Bacon's 8 Billion Ones project. No longer just the backdrop and family vacation photos, Bacon's work puts iconic signs and desolate service stations in the forefront. I think from the perspective of the life that was there or is still there, that naturally ties to my love of portraiture, said Bacon, who has been photographing Route 66 for the past 30 years. Literally, even from the early days, I've approached it from that angle, where it's life in it, and it's not just a structure that's fallen apart. Herman Bacon's pieces also explore an entity that is always present on Route 66, but not always at the forefront of stories. Women along the Mother Road, who are often the unseen backbone of the diners, motels, and service stations. Her mixed media pieces use vintage handkerchiefs from her mother's collection overlaid on photos of buildings and signs. My focus was on the feminine aspect of Route 66 and how it's such a car culture, but there were females behind the scene, working for the gas stations, keeping things nice and clean with flowers and such, said Herman Bacon. When I thought about what I would use with my photos, it was vintage handkerchiefs, because in 1926, more than likely, every lady had a handkerchief in her bag. This exhibit features photos dating back to 1989, Bacon said, and is the first collaboration show between the two. Some photos are from a recent trip down Route 66 with Herman Bacon, offering differing views of the same subject. The road is inspiring for both of us, just in different ways, she said. The exhibition will go up April 28th at Sea Art Gallery, 212 East Commercial Street, with a special evening from 5 to 8 p.m. May 1st. There is no admission fee. However, Two Voices, One Road isn't the only art focusing on the Mother Road you can check out during the Route 66 Centennial Kickoff. Here's a list of art and history exhibits to visit, as well as a movie premiere. First up, birthplace of Route 66 at History Museum on the Square. From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday at History Museum on the Square. That's at 154 Park Central Square. This permanent exhibit at the History Museum on the Square not only tells the story of Route 66 and how it got its name, but also contains neon signs, a 57 Chevy Bel Air, and a working jukebox. Admissions to the History Museum is $16 for adults, $13 for seniors, military and students, $10 for children between 4 and 12 years old, and free for children 3 and younger. Next up, Two Voices, One Road at Sea Art Gallery. This is taking place April 29th to July 4th at the Sea Art Gallery located at 212 East Commercial Street. Two Voices, One Road features 37 black and white photographs and 18 mixed media works of Route 66 in Randy Bacon and Heidi Herman Bacon's first collaboration show. There is no admission fee. Next up, the Route 66 Centennial Traveling Exhibit from May 30th through May 2nd at the Gilios Theater at 325 Park Central East. Learn about the women of Route 66 with this traveling pop-up exhibit based on the film series Route 66, the untold story of women on the Mother Road. The exhibit will feature immersive storytelling, historic artifacts, and art, as well as family-friendly activities. Admission to the exhibit is free, and you can learn more at www.route66women.com/about. Next up, the Ghost of the Colonial Hotel at Birthplace Plaza. This dedication takes place April 30th, but the statue will be permanent. It's located at Birthplace Plaza at the corner of Jefferson Avenue and St. Louis Street here in Springfield. An illuminated steel sculpture rises from the site of the Colonial Hotel, which is where the telegram naming Route 66 was sent from, April 30th, 1926. The sculpture is by Juan Garizabal and part of his Urban Memories series, which brings vanished architecture back to life through light and steel, according to the Birthplace Plaza website. Next up, Springfield 66, the Centennial Sculpture Series. This is a long-term exhibit located throughout the city. Springfield 66 is a public art initiative that celebrates the centennial of Route 66. Sculptures of the iconic Route 66 shield will be placed throughout the city, each one designed by a different local artist. According to founder and director Heidi Herman Bacon, the first 16 sculptures are currently being installed, with a goal of up to 66 5-foot-tall sculptures that create a self-guided trail across the Ozarks. And finally, we have premiere of Dust to Malibu. That is going to be at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. on May 3rd at the Moxie Cinema. Dust to Malibu, which was shot in Springfield in 2024, follows the story of a father seeking out his estranged daughter in order to make the trip from Missouri to California in order to spread her mother's ashes. The red carpet premiere will be May 3rd at 3 p.m. with another screening at 6 p.m. Q&A with the writer, director, producers, and actors will follow both screenings. The film will run at the Moxie for 2 weeks. Tickets go on sale April 7th for the general public through the Moxie website. This article has been updated to include additional information.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Lyndall Scranton says Missouri State's offense is a must-see baseball. It could end up ranking among the best in program history. This is from the opinions section. Normally, when you check out a baseball game, there's a convenient portion of the home team's lineup where a bathroom break or a run for a hot dog and a cold frosty one makes sense. The trouble with viewing this season's Missouri State Bears is that its lineup demands attention at every at-bat. These guys are simply must-see in the batter's box. There's no way to step away to score some popcorn because you might miss a 400-foot blast. Their number 9 hitter, Gabe Rossler, was just named Conference USA Hitter of the Week, former Bears coach and current Missouri State Baseball Radio Network analyst Keith Gooden said. The guy who's leading off and hitting .391, Loa Fife, and leading the league in hitting wasn't playing in the beginning of the year. They have power and they have tough outs. From 1 through 9, there's not an easy out. Gooden knows a bit about good hitting teams as he's had many during his 42 seasons as the program's head coach. He's quick to point out that his best lineup, the 1999 edition that had 6 players with double-digit home runs, Matt Sapicki, who had 30, John Hale had 25, Nick Hayes had 23, Ryan Howard had 19, Brian Fuse had 14, and Micah Holst had 11. Sapicki had arguably the greatest offensive season in school history with a 400 average, 30 home runs, and 100 RBIs, and leading the Bears to a 38-19 record, second place in the NCAA Fayetteville Regional. We led the nation with 144 home runs in 57 games with 2 future big leaguers, Howard and Sapicki, in that lineup, Gooden said. But even Gooten tips his hat to the 2026 offense as perhaps even better due to its depth. The 2015 NCAA Springfield Regional champs with a school record 49 wins should also be considered among the best. That offense in 99, they were all contributors through the lineup, but I don't think you could look at guys hitting 8 or 9 doing what the guys this year are doing, Gooten said. The 2015, we had tough outs and up and down the lineup. Guys were walking, they were getting hit by pitches, we hit singles, hit doubles. It was a really hard team to pitch to. It was just quality at bat after quality at bat. The offense has carried this year's team into serious discussions about postseason play entering the final 5 weeks of the regular season. This weekend's home series against Western Kentucky will be another step in the process as the Bears, that are 24-10 overall, second in Conference USA at 12-3, are a lofty 15th in the ratings percentage index, a tool used to select NCAA tournament-at-large teams. Unlike other sports, the NCAA baseball committee has traditionally leaned heavily on the RPI. The Bears have built theirs through a 15-0 home record, 9 road wins, and a rugged non-conference schedule. It also helps that CUSA is a serious baseball league, unlike their old home in the Missouri Valley Conference. If Missouri State fails to win the CUSA tournament next month in Kennesaw State, If Missouri State fails to win the CUSA tournament next month at Kennesaw State, there will still remain hope. Hawkins prefers to focus on the proverbial next game, but said he addresses the at-large chances with his team on occasion. I'm pretty black and white. It's 2026, Hawkins said. They read everything on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff they can look up on the RPI. I just say, look, you've earned this right to have these distractions, and they are distractions, but RPI doesn't play the game for you against Western Kentucky tomorrow night. I've told them since we were at Louisiana opening weekend, every game is a postseason game if you want to be an at-large team. So we've been in this postseason mindset for a while, and it's been a fun ride. After a hard-hitting ride, which has seen the team overcome lengthy absences to starting middle infielders Jax Ryan and Bryce Sermonelli due to hand injuries, both could return soon, which creates the pleasant problem of finding enough at-bats for everyone. Fife, a sophomore revelation at shortstop, leads the team with 55 hits and has 5 of the Bears' 70 home runs in 34 games. Rustler has had 9 hits and 11 RBIs in last weekend's 3-game series at Delaware. Like many in the lineup, those two are able to play multiple positions, which helps. We would not be in the position we are in without depth. It has been unbelievable, Hawkins said. It just speaks to the selflessness of this team. Some guys had to wait their turn, some guys have capitalized, some guys have been in and out of the lineup, but when you want to win, when your name's called, you just compete for your team, compete for your guys, and that's all that matters, and this group has done that. Center fielder Caden Bogenfall, a projected first-rounder in this summer's MLB draft, gets much of the attention. Opponents have walked him 39 times as he is on pace to shatter the career record. But all that does is set it up for others like catcher Carter Berkman with 11 home runs and third baseman Curry Sutherland with 10 home runs and 35 RBIs to thrive with runners on base. Everyone in the lineup shares a common approach that Hawkins has preached since becoming hitting coach in 2022 and taking over for Gooten in 2025. Spy a fastball or a misplaced off-speed pitch early in the count? Smash it. Our biggest thing is just with the first 3 pitches, we're looking to get a good swing on and put a barrel on a ball, Rostler said. Those first 3 pitches, it's kind of scientifically proven you're going to get a good pitch to hit, so be ready. Ironically, Hawkins played on the great 2015 team, which includes future first-round MLB draft choice and current Texas Rangers cleanup hitter Jake Berger. And he was not one who thrived on high exit velocity or power. He set a school record for sacrifice bunts and was one of the great defenders in program history. But after a couple of years coaching in professional baseball, Hawkins adapted to teaching the modern philosophy of hitting while combining it with its heady approach as a collegian. I played on the winningest team in school history here, and that offense was very team-oriented 1 through 9. Hawkins said, "We didn't hit a ton of homers, we didn't slug a ton, but we knew how to have competitive at-bats." So it all just goes back to the simple philosophy, and it comes down to the players executing it, and they're elite at it. They're really, really good. Meanwhile, the Bears' pitching continues to be a work in progress. Freshman Ross Felder has settled into the Friday night #1 starter's role of late, and the bullpen seems to be stabilizing a bit. Opening day starter Michael Yusypchuk is battling some arm issues, but Hawkins said his UCL is sound, and that is good news. Having an offense that averages 9.2 runs per game and a .979 OPS, or on-base plus slugging average, certainly helps. Missouri State's upcoming baseball games: Friday versus Western Kentucky at 3 p.m., Saturday versus Western Kentucky at 2 p.m., Sunday versus Western Kentucky at 1 p.m., and Tuesday at Arkansas, 6 p.m.
And a nonpartisan coalition invites residents to meet elected officials. Marta Mays from the Springfield News-Leader says, as a way to make local elected officials more accessible to citizens, the Informed Voter Coalition is hosting a new Meet the Electeds event. The coalition is made up of more than a dozen nonpartisan organizations, including the Springfield News-Leader, with the goal of helping local voters remain informed and engaged in local politics. Anybody within Springfield and Greene County can come and just have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what our local city and county elected officials do, what their job is, and what that looks like every day, said Emily Fessler, chair of the coalition. I hope people realize that, our elected officials aren't that scary, and that they are just people, and that they are accessible and willing to have conversations. The Meet the Electeds event will encourage local residents to meet and engage with elected officials. The event will take place from 5 to 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 22nd at Missouri State University's Strong Hall Atrium at 900 South Holland Avenue. Parking will be available at the Bear Park South Parking Garage. At the event, attendees will have the opportunity to meet with the following official: Greene County Clerk Shane Schuller, Greene County Assessor Brent Johnson, Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon, Commissioner Rusty McLaughlin, Springfield School Board member Sharita Thomas Tate. This is the first time the coalition has done an in-person event of this kind. Fessler said the group is working on plans for another Meet the Electeds event with state lawmakers. I think knowing elected officials helps bring people to a more engaged place civically that really sort of draws them out than when it comes to other larger or more contentious types of conversations, she said. That they have a foundation and a relationship and rapport with their local elected officials to, be able to voice their opinions and say what they want to say on certain issues. Launched in 2019, the Informed Voter Coalition aims to educate voters and foster engagement between candidates and citizens. All organizations are nonpartisan. Members include Be Civil, Be Heard, Drury University's L.E. Metter Center for Politics and Citizenship, KSMU Ozarks Public Radio, Leadership Springfield, League of Women Voters of Southwest Missouri, Missouri State University's Office of Public Affairs, NAACP Springfield, Ozarks Technical Community College's Social Sciences Department, Rosie, Show Me Christian County, Springfield Business Journal, Springfield Greene County Library District, and the Springfield News-Leader.
From the Springfield Business Journal, a council committee examines affordable housing development incentives. As the city braces itself for the loss of certain affordable housing properties as developer credit expires, Springfield City Council is trying to come up with ways to encourage that development in the future. Specifically, Council's Finance and Administration Committee is looking at incentives and strategies for establishing more low-income housing tax credit, or LIHTC, housing in the city. As previously reported in Springfield Business Journal, a wave of affordable housing built in the 1990s through LIHTC credits are expected to revert to market rate housing in the next few years. Yesterday, the committee hosted a panel of local affordable housing experts to answer questions and provide insight on the ways the city can foster more LIHTC development. SBJ reported last year on a looming crisis on the LIHTC sphere, with the loss of 1 million housing units predicted by 2040 by the National Housing Preservation Database. Tax credits for developing LIHTC units have a mandatory compliance period of 15 years, and most projects have a 30-year requirement to provide affordable housing. Many developers seek an exit after the 15-year mark. Bob Jones, the city's grant administrator, said last year that in 2024, 110 units in Springfield reached the end of their compliance, and by 2025, another 36 were predicted to join them. Between 2024 and 2029, a total of 366 Springfield LIHTC units could end their compliance period, he said. SBJ reported on a March 30th court hearing regarding a LIHTC exit by Zimmerman Properties LLC after 20 years. Residents, including plaintiffs Ramona Teeter, alleged violations in the owner's exit process, specifically a failure to provide residents with the required 3-year notice of a property sale and the exit from the LIHTC program. And they testified to difficulty in finding affordable housing to replace the units from which they are being evicted. The committee's panel included 6 people who are active in the affordable housing space in Springfield and elsewhere. They were Debbie Shantz-Hart, Affordable Housing Development Director from Cherryvale Development LLC and Housing Plus LLC, Becky Sell, Property Management Authority and President of Sustainable Management Incorporated and co-owner with Heart of Housing Plus, David Allison, Consultant and Development Authority, and 3 representatives of Zimmerman Properties and Will Hoyt Properties Incorporated. Councilmember Brandon Jensen, committee chair, began the discussion by explaining the purpose of the committee's effort, which is to explore additional alternatives to incentive affordable housing development. These could include tools, incentives, or policy supports to make the LIHTC projects easier to deliver. Hart said the answer is to look at guidelines from the Missouri Housing Development Commissions, which administers the federal LIHTC program for the state. You have to look at the guidelines from MHDC and talk about what deals are going to point well, she said, referring to the point system by which program applications are scored. If the city of Springfield is interested in getting projects approved by MHDC, there are certain points that we can get that would make applications more desirable. In addition to tax abatements, Hart cited the use of soft funds, which panelists defined as below-market loans without annual debt service, and waivers of fees, both of which earn points from state officials who score housing project applications. They just want to see that you're leveraging funds, she said. Another factor, the community has to find the development desirable, and that information is partly conveyed in the city's letter of support. If you do the same letter for every project, it doesn't really help with MHDC understanding which one's important, she said. She said St. Louis and Kansas City both rank projects, and sometimes MHDC pays attention to that. Allison agreed, noting the program is extremely competitive. In places where municipalities understand what the state agency wants to see, projects have a better chance of getting across the finish line. In an interview after the meeting, Jensen said the committee's efforts go beyond a single informational meeting as it responds to a council referral, his own, from last fall. Jensen said the committee is looking at additional resources needed from the city, beyond MHDC requirements. It is also exploring ways to bring clarity to the development community about resources that are available. He said that the city has an opportunity to provide incentives for meeting certain thresholds. As an example, MHDC offers maximum number of points in a category or offering 12.5 units in a development for tenants who earn 30% of area median income. The city could push the threshold to apply to 20% AMI in exchange for a certain incentive. He emphasized that the example is only that, an illustration. I don't know what the specific criteria are going to be, he said. Two council Finance and Administration Committee meetings are scheduled in May to establish incentives and to align incentives that can be revised periodically. Jensen aims to have a presentation for the full council at a June workshop meeting, then to revise the proposal based on feedback received and present a resolution for adoption in July in time for the next round of LIHTC applications. Jensen said the committee's work won't have an impact on the project that are expiring in the next 5 years, but instead, members aim to help in the future. This is forward-looking, he said. We're trying to minimize future possibilities for those impacts we're experiencing now.
And Torch told businesses to turn off the gaming machines, but in Springfield, not everyone is on board. Ryan Collins and Steve Pokin team up for the Springfield Daily Citizen here to bring us this story that says days after Torch Electronics announced it would voluntarily suspend operation of its slot machine-style games across Missouri, compliance among Springfield bars, convenience stores, and other businesses was hit or miss. Springfield Daily Citizen reporters observed the Torch machines, known as video lottery terminals, or VLTs, in operation at a number of businesses in different parts of the city on Monday, April 13th. Other businesses pulled the plug on the machines as Torch had asked of his customers. The VLTs sat in a corner, turned off, and disconnected. Torch announced it had asked customers to turn off machines on April 10th as it advocates for legislation that would create a regulated framework for VLTs. The suspension follows a criminal investigation by the Missouri Attorney General's office that resulted in charges last month against a Brookline convenience store operator. The suspension is the latest step in a years-long saga surrounding Torch's machines, commonly known by a plethora of names. Besides VLTs, the games are also known as gray machines because they've existed in a gray area of the law. The machines are also known as no-chance games because of a pre-reveal feature that lets users know if they will win the next spin. Fast and Friendly, a convenience store chain with 11 locations in Springfield, as well as stores in Bolivar and Ozark, has suspended operation of Torch machines in at least a few of its Springfield locations on April 13th. Around 8 a.m., Torch machines were operating at the Fast and Friendly located at 3023 South Scenic Avenue, a Daily Citizen reporter observed. The machines were open to the public, turned on, and displaying different game options. Hours later, around noon, Torch machines were disabled at the store at Kansas Expressway and Sunset Street. An employee at that Fast and Friendly said corporate had called that morning with instructions to turn off the Torch machines. At the Fast and Friendly located at 501 West Chestnut Expressway, 7 Torch machines were shut down. A sign saying temporarily out of service blocked off the area. I think the people turn around and leave when they see the games are off, said employee Diana Ryan. Fast and Friendly's corporate office did not return multiple requests for comment on April 13th. Following is a photo of Dion Perro, age 34, of Springfield, as he plays a Torch machine Monday afternoon at the Phillips 66 White Oak station at 1472 East Kearney Street. He says if all the machines are shut down, he'll have to go and find a casino. Last month, Rapid Roberts, another convenience store chain, removed Torch machines from all of its stores across Springfield, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. Rapid Roberts removed its machines before Torch's voluntary operation suspension. The Torch machines were also up and running Monday afternoon at the Phillips 66 White Oak station at 650 West Kearney Street, 6 machines, and at the Phillips 66 at 3450 West Division Street, 17 machines. An employee at the White Oak station provided a reporter with her boss's phone number. He did not respond by deadline. An employee at the Phillips 66 station at Division and West Bypass declined to comment and declined to provide any contact information for his boss. Dion Perro, age 34, of Springfield, was playing a Torch machine at the Phillips 66 White Oak station. He said he plays, quote, all the time. Why? I win. What would happen if all the machines were shut down? I'd be bored, he said. I'd have to go find a casino. Following is a headline that reads, some bars and businesses disable Torch machines while others don't. And there's a photo of the Wicked Superstore located at 425 East Kearney Street. It says some Springfield bars and restaurants have heeded Torch's request, turned off the machines, and have barred customers from accessing them. Torch slot machines were powered down and disconnected at Carey's Bar, located at 1906 East Meadowmere Street on April 13th, the Daily Citizen reporter observed. The business owner did not return a request for comment. A couple intersections down Glenstone Avenue, Archie's Lounge, located at 1817 East Grand Street, still had torch machines in operation April 13th, a Daily Citizen reporter observed. The owner declined to comment on the torch machines. The 17 torch machines at Wicked Superstore, located at 425 East Kearney Street, were up and running in the back room on Monday afternoon. An employee said his manager would have to respond to any questions from a reporter. He gave the Springfield Daily Citizen the manager's email. Caprice Shaley, the manager, said he would talk to a reporter only if the story included the multiple challenges his business faces, including a federal ban on THCA, a cannabinoid found in raw unheated cannabis and hemp plants. The reporter declined. The city of Springfield declined to comment due to ongoing litigation. Chris Swatters, public affairs officer for the Springfield Police Department, said enforcement of the 2024 city ordinance banning no-chance games is ongoing and has not stopped. SPD declined to provide further details due to ongoing litigation. Torch Electronics spokesperson Greg Keller declined to comment on the record about businesses shirking the company's request. The Missouri Attorney General's office did not respond to a request for comment on April 13th regarding torch machines still in operation at some Springfield businesses. Talwinder Singh owns the Phillips 66 AM/PM Food Mart at 2720 West Kearney Street. Singh said he shut down his 8 machines, which are in the adjoining laundromat, on April 10th after he received a letter from Torch asking him to do so. Singh said he only had the machines for about 2 months. He said the lost revenue hurts. "We're a small business," he said. "The machines are definitely a help for us." Ryan Collins is the business and economic development reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Collins graduated from Glendale High School in 2011 before studying journalism and economics at the University of Missouri-Columbia. He previously worked for Bloomberg News. You can contact him at 417-849-2570 or rcollins@sgfcitizen.org. And you can read more by Ryan Collins at sgfcitizen.org/author/rcollins. Steve Pokin writes the Pokin' Around and the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spoken@sgfcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661, and you can find more by Steve Pokin at sgfcitizen.org/author/spoken.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for more information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.
What happened?
Must be good. All right.
The timing was off. There wasn't enough time for another story.
Oh, and there might have been, but there was no hard-hitting news that anyone had to hear today.
No